So I have to admit, I'm kind of a borderline hoarder, junk collector. Uh, Wanted to show you a little bit of some of the junk I have. But the first thing that I wanted to show you was my old Chevy pickup here. She's a good one. A little bit of rust, you know. Need some work on it right now. But you see these are called pure steel plank. The military used them in the World War to make big landing strips for airplanes, and they would just interlock them with each other. They would link on both sides. Well, I took one of them. I had two of them, and I used to use these for my rototiller over here. In high school, my sister would drive me in the old GMC, and we would rototill gardens, and I would take this out of the back of the truck with those pure steel planks and then make a few bucks rototilling gardens. And my sister would drive me in the brown GMC over here. You can see it. It doesn't run anymore. But we'd load it in the back of the truck with these pure steel planks. Well, I cut this one up to make the project I'm going to show you today. But first of all, I want to show you some of my junk. I don't know why I keep all this crap, but look at this. I got a swamp cooler. I've got a street sweeper. I've got a water heater, a radial arm saw, two push mowers, tire change. I've got two riding lawnmowers, bunch of steel pipe, cement mixer, fuel tank, boards and more boards, pallet, yak skulls, scaffolding, baseball netting. You know, that's the problem with being a hoarder. You say, oh, I might use that someday. I better keep it. I got a place in the back, and the more places you have in the back to store stuff, the more crap you keep. Check this out. I got solar panels. Oh, and then there's the container. Oh, I don't know what my problem is. Implements. Then there's my steel pile. I'm gonna take all this to the recycler someday. Then I got more firewood. Then I got steel, beams, timbers. Oh, and then there's the rock pile. You've heard of rock collectors? I have my own rock pile. Just come over here and I'll give you some rocks. Then I got my old horse trailer, my old tractor. I had this baby for 30, I bought that 32 years ago. Still runs great too. Anyway, I wanted to show you my latest modification on the truck. I don't know if you can tell what it is or not, but the steps that I had on there, they worked fine, but I was always afraid that when I go in the hills and do a little rock crawling, that I might catch one of those steps and knock it off and rip my body panels off. So I decided to make me a rock slider, and I made it out of 1.5 inch tubing, both square and round tubing. And then I had some of in my junk pile back there. That's why I wanted to show you my junk pile, is some pure steel plank, and I cut that up just to make my steps out of it, and I'm pretty proud of it. Yeah, we'll see how it works if I ever go over a big rock and see if it gets crushed. But I did. One thing I wanted a little feedback from you guys is I attached it both to the body and to the frame, and I'm hoping that that was a smart move. I'll show you here underneath there. I made some brackets so that it could bolt to the frame in 3 spots. It was 1, and then 2, and then up front here, see if you can see it, not in there. It's bolted to it, but then I also bolted it to the body panels right there. I got a few bolts along here, and yeah, it's strong. I like it because I can even step on it back here and get up if I need to. But I'm hoping the vibration doesn't come from the frame into the body panels, and I might feel it. But let me know if that was a smart thing to do. So I was thinking about my old trucks. I had that old truck. My dad gave it to me when I started to drive at 16. I drove it up until the time that I bought that one over there. And then I've had this one for a while. I like this old truck. I have a soft place in my heart for old trucks, especially GM ones. But it reminded me of the first vehicle that I got a loan on. When Julie and I started having kids, we had a little Toyota Celica, and we realized we couldn't put two kids in the back of that two-door. So we went out and bought ourselves a Toyota Land Cruiser, a 1985 Land Cruiser. And I remember this very well. I paid 14,000 bucks for that Toyota Land Cruiser. It was used, had 17,000 miles. I think we bought it in 1988. And we bought it at a dealership in Boulder, Colorado. And we drove it up to Estes Park that night to celebrate. And we stayed in the YMCA in Estes Park. And I remember I couldn't sleep that night because that was the first loan I'd ever got. And the payments were going to be $143 a month. And I was thinking, holy cow, what have I got myself into? $143 a month for the next 4 years. How am I ever going to pay for that? But the reason I thought about that is because I no longer have any debt. In fact, the reason I drive an old truck is because I don't want to have any debt. I paid cash for this one back in 1992, brand new. Cost me 19,000 bucks. Paid cash for it. But got me thinking about everything that goes on right now with this virus and how many people are just stressing over having mortgages and car payments, of course, rent. I mean, there's a lot of things to stress over. I feel fortunate because I don't have a loan on anything, so I don't really have to worry about too much. And that takes a lot of the stress out. But I know not everybody can be in that situation, and I wasn't in that position until a number of years ago when I'd build one house, I would sell it, take the money, put it into another house, then sell it to finally where we got to the point where we could pay cash for the latest house. And sure is nice being that way, not having any debt. Anyway, wanted to share that with you and glad you joined me. And hey, come back again if you like what you saw. Thanks.